Hello, my name is Gretta Harris, and for assignment two, I chose to analyze and research the Institute for Teachers of Color Committed to Racial Justice, and it's also referred to as ITOC, so I may refer to it as that throughout this presentation. I will admit that I had never heard of this organization before, but as a woman of color and after researching and listening to the reviews, it is an organization that I plan to continue my research and possibly attend one of their events because I do feel like it could help me as a woman of color who is also a leader. The next slide is just to build context. It lists several facts that I think is significant. I think they are significant to why the organization was founded. So first, teachers of color are foundational to the academic engagement and success of students of color. And this is also something that we have been learning about through reading our text. Teachers of color make up just 21% of teachers. So even in diverse schools, teachers of color are still the minority. Teachers of color also leave the field faster and more frequently than their white counterparts, 16% versus 20%. And then research has illuminated that teachers of color are often neglected in their teacher preparation and professional development, racialized professionally, and overlooked for leadership roles in schools. And I can also attest to that because as a woman of color, I've always felt like I had to work harder to show that I was knowledgeable and skillful. So this is just the context of why the organization was founded and a little bit of history about ITOC. It was created essentially because after the founders attended a conference, they scheduled a 2-hour conference and they realized that it just wasn't enough time to provide a space for teachers of color. And so they felt like teachers of color needed a place, a safe space where they can go to process their racialized experiences, things that they've gone through, a safe space for them to communicate and work through those experiences. They also realized that there was a need to engage in culturally sustaining professional development for these educators. There's a need to support the growth of teacher leaders of color. And for over a decade, they have created a community of educators who lead in racial justice. So, again, the organization was founded just to be a help to teachers of color. And in turn, all of the teachers who are part of this organization have been able to take their professional development and what they've learned and actually become agents of change in society. Some of the events that they offer, they hold a summer conference. They actually have one this summer. They also have virtual programming where you can sign up for virtual courses. They have racial justice mini courses that you can sign up for, and then also community building, which they consider public talks. And here are several pictures of their leadership team. Their team members, you have the co-founders who are also the co-directors, the program assistants, and then their arts director. And then of course they have different teachers and educators who are also a part of the team. The vision and the mission of ITOC. Their mission is to serve educators who demonstrate capacity for racial justice leadership in public schools. Using critical race frameworks, ITOC is intended as a community building professional development space for teachers of color to explore the racial climate of their school and its impact on their students, communities, and themselves, receive leadership training to navigate these realities, and strategize how to create racially racially transformative classrooms and schools. So the big picture again is for these educators to take back what they've learned and help improve our public schools. The goals and strategies used were very laid out. They essentially focus on four approaches that they take to support the growth and success of teachers of color. They start out by strengthening racial literacy. Their idea is that in public schools, the teachers can't help what they don't know about. So they have to strengthen their analysis of racial harm. And then the teachers must have the literacy to know how to read racism. Again, they can't deal with something if they don't know what that looks like. Community building, they provide. Um, they provide and build community through intimate workshop and working group spaces, teacher peer relationship building. There's also the third point is racial justice leadership development, where they choose educators who essentially have been overlooked for leadership opportunities and they help develop them so that they can become leaders in our public school system. And then they also focus on developing school or district wide ethnic studies. And then the last one is health and wellness. Social emotional wellness as a whole has been a big push in public schools. I think sometimes we focus on the students and we forget that the teachers need that health and wellness focus as well. So, under health and wellness, they attend to the needs of teachers of color and how they can improve their sustainability so that they stay in the field and that they don't leave, and they could be a better help to their students. And in turn, if they are healthier from an emotional standpoint, then they can be overall better for their students. They provide safe spaces for reflection and support. They offer meditation and yoga, and then workshops on healing and self care. One thing that I was most impressed with when researching about ITOC is just the reviews that were out there. Everything was very positive. I have linked a video here for you guys to, you can either click the picture or click the link, and you can hear testimonials of how this organization has impacted the lives of educators worldwide. And it's really inspiring. You never know what teachers deal with and what they face, especially if you have teachers of color in a predominantly white school. They're not able to talk about certain issues because it may feel uncomfortable or they don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. So, again, the reviews were very impactful and even had an impact on my life. And then just a few connections to our activism course. As I was studying and researching the ITOC organization, I found several aspects that they promote that have also been in the readings that we have been studying. And so the biggest thing is that representation matters. Our schools are becoming more and more diverse, and students need to see educators who look like them and who are successful in their roles. I also, it confirmed that we need to support adults and students of color. It's essential that we do. We have to be intentional and we have to make a plan so that we can make our students and our adults of color feel welcome and needed and appreciated and set them up for success. We have to be their cheerleaders and let them know that they can be successful. Also, there's a big push with this organization for mentors and community role models, and that's one thing that we just recently read in section B of the text, and about how, of course, kids learn about people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, but they need people in their community who can be role models. And so this organization basically creates role models, and they do a lot of community work so that they can bring in those role models for kids. Also, trainings for teachers is very essential because a lot of teachers just don't know how to deal with certain issues. Sometimes they just need a place where they can, again, feel appreciated, and their culture can be represented, and they can in turn be impactful for their students. And then understanding culture and that the students that you teach, we have to have representation. We have to make sure that our students feel welcome in the classroom and it feels like a place where they belong. And lastly, this video is a great activity just for as a group. I think it's important for us to have background knowledge of the why. And so I have linked a video. The video is titled Why Having Teachers of Color is Crucial. And for someone who may not understand, even after everything that I have stated in this presentation, this video really does a great job of summing it up. So you can listen to the video and then answer the following questions. The first question: why do teachers of color leave the teaching profession? How do students benefit from having teachers of color? Why is having a Black teacher even more impactful for Black males? What immediate actions can you take to help students of color? Again, I hope that you have gained some insight or some knowledge from this presentation. And I hope that the information causes you to become an agent of change and to continue your research. Look for those organizations that are impactful and helpful, that can help you become a better educator. And then if you're a leader, it will help you retain your teachers of color. Thank you.